Okay, take two. What's up, Wednesday? Round two. It's just one of those mornings where we're trying to find good light. We're trying to find good space. It's going to be kind of noisy out here. It just is what it is this morning. But that's a business from home, and that's just kind of how it goes. And I appreciate your patience and just being patient with me as I try to figure it out. See, Jen's coming back. Everyone's coming back. So come on back. My connection went out. The noise got loud. It was crazy, but we're back. We're back, and the connection is back. So let's dive into this. So last night I spoke on the team call, and I know many of you were on there and on their live. Yay, it's working now. Okay, awesome. I know many of you were on the call live last night, and I was up for probably an hour plus after the call last night answering messages from coaches who were so, I don't know what the word is I want to use. I don't want to say happy. I don't want to say grateful. It feels too big. But just they were something. We'll say happy for now. To listen to a veteran coach talk about the vital behaviors really being the fundamentals and the foundation for this business. And it got me thinking about some of the one-on-ones that I've done this week. And it got me thinking about some of the issues that new coaches have. And it got me thinking about some of the comments that I got last night on Instagram. You guys want to go out? And some of the questions that I got last night and some of the conversations that I've had with coaches in one-on-ones this week revolve around recruiting. And I'm going to tackle that in a minute. But I want to get back to the piece about vital behaviors, because here's what I see happening. And I can see this very clearly given that I've been in the business for so long. But here's the beautiful thing about having a coach who's been in the business for so long. I get to shorten your learning curve. I get to share what I've been through to shorten your learning curve. I get to tell you, listen to me. This is what I've tried. This is what works. This is what I've tried. This is what doesn't work. I get to shorten your learning curve. So you don't have to do some of the experimentation, some of the figuring out stuff that I did, because you have a coach who's been in this for 12 years and has done a lot of the figuring out. Isn't that an amazing thing? So when I'm sharing some of this stuff, I want you to understand, I want you to absorb it through a lens of, oh, she's not being preachy or condescending, because I'm not. What I'm being is someone who's been there and done that, and I want to shorten your learning curve. I don't want you to spend/waste some of the time, energy, mojo that I have I want you to create success more quickly. I want you to use what I have learned that I am sharing with you to build a business that fits you. So if you, and I said last night, it was so interesting to me watching some of the coaches on the call last night. Here we have this collaborative Superstar Diamond call. I'm on the call as a 12 years in May, veteran coach. One of only two coaches in the entire network, one of only two in the entire network, to help a team, to lead a team to 10-time elite. And I watched coaches show up on the call. First of all, I know of coaches who did not show up on the call. And then I watched coaches show up on the call and be like, yeah, whatever. Not even like taking notes. Not even taking notes on this call on a Tuesday night where a coach was going to sit and share 12 years of experience, either not showing up or not showing up and taking notes. One girl was drinking like a Pepsi. I'm like, what is going on right now? Get in here. Come on. And that is so interesting to me, because here you have a coach who is, whether it's me or any of the other Superstar Diamond coaches who are speaking on Tuesday nights, who is there solely to shorten your learning curve. And I said to the coaches last night, when you go to Summit, when you go to the leadership conference in the fall, and I'm going to New Leader conference next weekend just to support our coaches, our Sparta Nation coaches who are going. I'm not speaking or anything like that. I am going to try and sneak in and listen to the lectures if I can. But every single event that I attend as a coach, 12 years in, I am in the front row taking notes. Always. And it's so second nature to me that I don't think about that anymore. Of course I'm going to the front row, and of course I'm taking notes, notebooks and notes. When I go through the stuff in my office, I have notebooks from 10 years ago of notes that I have kept. I am in the front row and I am taking notes, because the minute you think you know everything is the minute that you are done. And this business is a business of evolution, just like life. And it was astounding to me, number one, the coaches who weren't on the call, because if you're on this team, you know, I know if you're on the call or not. So number one, the coaches who weren't on the call, but then number two, the coaches just across all this collaboration that show up and then just sit and don't take notes. That's unbelievable to me. Because those calls on Tuesday nights, the national wake-up call every Monday, this Facebook Live, What's Up Wednesday, it is all designed to help anyone who's listening create success, likely in a shorter amount of time than it took me or anyone else who's speaking. The sole purpose, we do the national wake-up call, we do the Tuesday night calls, I do What's Up Wednesday, is to help you create success in your business in the way that feels right to you. And if you choose not to tap into that, what you're saying is that you just don't want to create success. That's a statement in and of itself, that you just don't want to create success. It's not that the business isn't working. It's not that people are saying no to you, or they're objecting, or nothing's working out for you, or that you have coaches that don't want to work. No, it's that you aren't tapping into some of these resources, because the sole purpose for me getting on here last night, National Wake Up Call, everything is to shorten your learning curve. That's it. I want to shorten your learning curve so that you can create success so much more quickly. I want you to get to Superstar Diamond shorter than the 7 years that it took me. You know, I want you to get to Diamond shorter than the year that it took me. What? 12 coaches. What? Like what? What? I mean, it's crazy. I want to shorten your learning curve. So when you have people with experience who've done the things that you want to do, Moira Kusaba on the National Wake Up Call on Monday, if you are not listening to that call on repeat, you're doing yourself a disservice, because her sole purpose on the National Wake Up Call on Monday is to share her experience to shorten our learning curve. I was taking notes on that call. Moira is a good friend of mine. I know her very well. I could call her right now and have that same call with her. I'm taking notes on that call, because there's always something to learn. Always something to learn. And if you're just showing up, half-assing it, and kind of showing up to the call and doing a multitude of other things and not taking notes, then likely your business will be in the same place this time next year that it is right now. And really, that's on you. So there it is. That's on you. And remember, when I'm sharing that, it's because I'm sharing it with I just want to shorten your learning curve. It should not take anyone. And yes, I'm going to say this so clearly and transparently, and it's not to be mean. Y'all, I am not here to be mean, but it should not take anyone a year to get to Diamond. It took me a year plus to get to Diamond. It took me a year plus to get to Diamond. So I'm telling you, as someone who I did nothing with this business for 8 months. So then Shakeology came out. At some point in that second year, I don't even know when, I'd really have to go back and research and figure out when. It took me more than a year to get to Diamond. That's redonkulous. Y'all, it's 12 coaches. So if I can do something to shorten that learning curve for you, I'm going to do it. But you got to do your part by showing up and taking notes and being 100% all in when the information is being offered. And then you take the meat and you leave the bones. You take what's going to work for you and you try it, and then you leave what doesn't work for you, and that's okay. But if you don't show up and you don't take notes, you're going to be in the same place in your business and likely in your life this time next year. And that's going to be on you. And that's going to make me indescribably sad, because I am a living, breathing example of the life change, the deep to the gut, to the bone life change that this business can create in someone's life. I am a living, breathing example of that. My children are living, breathing examples of that. Our family are living, breathing examples of the absolute to the bone life change that this business can create in someone's life. And to watch people not show up on a call or show up and be drinking a Pepsi on the call, not taking notes, because those people are the ones that will turn around to their coach and go, well, this business just doesn't work for me. Really? Or is it that you just aren't doing the work? And one of the pieces that I talked about last night was the vital behaviors, because these coaches on the call last night kept asking me questions, very systematic, very tangible, tactical questions, because everyone's looking for this magic secret. Everyone's looking for, even some of my veteran coaches will say, what invite are you using? What invite are you using? I don't have an invite script. I don't. I have some templates and I have some ideas and I have some places that I start. But do you know what my invite script is? Here's my invite script. I show up on social media every freaking day, whether I really feel like it or not. I show up every day. I showcase our products because they work. I showcase our programs because they work. I talk on social media every single day. That's my inviting script. I am living and breathing what we do, and I'm inviting people to join me along the way because I believe to my bone it can change your life. That's my script. That's it. So when you're asking me for a script or you're asking me how many invites you have to send, I will tell you exactly what I said on the call last night, which is, well, what's your goal? And do your numbers and your habits align with your goal? And if you have a goal and you're not reaching it, then you have to go back and look at your numbers and your habits. And one of those habits should be personal development. It's a vital behavior. It's a foundational behavior. It should be personal development. So I wanted to share with you two pieces from two books today. And one you can get, and I highly encourage you to get it if you haven't. Are you kidding me that my doorbell's ringing? Hold, please. This day, I am telling you. This day is crazy. So I want to share with you a couple of pieces from these two personal development books that I have. And one you can get, I've talked about it before. I highly encourage you to get it if you haven't. And one you just can't get till March. So I'm going to share with that one first. And that one is, because I want you to pre-order it if you haven't yet. And that one is the Dave Hollis book, Get Out of Your Own Way. This is available for pre-order. I got an advanced copy of it, so it's a soft copy. And I want to share with you. I may have to move again. I wanted to share with you what I shared on my social media today, because he's got chapters just like Rachel Hollis does, where if you remember in Girl Wash Your Face, she talks about the lie and then she kind of disputes it through that chapter. Okay, Dave does the same thing. He talks about lies or myths that he had in his mind, that he had in his head, in his life, and then he talks about how he's kind of worked his way through that, how he's disputed that. And this one that I want to share with you, the lie was failure means you're weak. That's the lie. And he talks about some situations where he had failed in his life, and then what he assessed and what he came to conclusions about. Number one, failing at something doesn't make you a failure. Failing at something does not make you a failure. Number two, you never lose when you fail. You only learn from the experience. You don't lose when you fail. And here's the other part that he doesn't dive into, because it's a man. And sometimes women have different, we have different mindsets and different perceptions. But here's the thing that I was asking some of my coaches this week when I was talking on one-on-ones yesterday, and I know I have a bunch more tomorrow. Who gets to decide what failure is? When you think about it, who gets to decide that? So his point is you never lose when you fail. You only learn from the experience. Who gets to decide what failure is? For me, my definition of failure is not trying. That's my definition. If you tried something, but it didn't work, that's not failing, that's learning. But if you don't try, if you sit on the sidelines and you're complacent and you let fear sit in the driver's seat, that to me is failing. That's my definition. You have to define what failure is to you. But to me, if you're not trying, that's failing. Number 3, the best growth comes from learning from the stuff you fail at. Isn't that cool? The best growth comes from learning the stuff you fail at. So for example, let's say you set a goal to hit Success Club 20 and you ended up at Success Club 10. So in your head, you think, well, I kind of failed at that goal. Cool. So what can you learn from that? What could you go back and look at what you did or didn't do to learn from that? So it's not really a failure if you learn from it. It's a failure if you don't try. To me, I watch coaches all the time who don't try. That to me is failing. I see sometimes coach cancellations come through. And when you get a coach cancellation and they've had customers and coaches and, this coach cancels and all their people float up to you. The saddest thing to me is when a coach cancels and they've had no customers and no coaches underneath them. That is so sad to me because that means they sat on the sidelines, not sharing this incredible opportunity, but not even the income part of it, just the products and programs that likely changed their life. They just sat on the sidelines not doing anything. To me, that is failure because they didn't even try. But if you set a goal like Success Club 20 and you hit Success Club 10, in your mind, you might go, well, I failed at hitting my goal. Okay, cool, but what an amazing learning experience. Because now you can go back and go, all right, well, I sent out X amount of invitations, but that did not get me to 20. So that means I can learn from that. I've got to increase that. I did X amount of personal development, but that didn't get me to 20, so I have to do more. I only talked about my workouts 2 times on social media, but that didn't get me to 20, so I can learn from that. So you see how it's not really a failure. It's an amazing learning experience. The opinions of people, y'all better listen to this. The opinions of people sitting on the sidelines should not intimidate you because you've already done something that they haven't just by putting yourself in the game. The opinions of people sitting on the sidelines should not intimidate you. You've already done something they haven't just by putting yourself in the game. Do you understand that? That simply by getting up and pressing play, simply by getting up and talking about that workout, simply by getting up and making a healthy choice for your meal, simply by getting up and fueling your mind with something that will help you grow as a human being, you're already doing stuff that so many people won't do. It doesn't mean they can't. It does mean that they're just not. And because they're just not, they feel free to take shots at you for doing that because it makes them feel better about themselves. Aren't humans weird? We're so weird. Like, why would we look at someone who's doing something that clearly we want to do, live healthier, be better, and take shots at them for doing that just because we haven't made the choice to do it yet either, because we're being held back by fear? Why wouldn't we look at someone and go, that's freaking awesome, and you know what? If he or she can do it, so can I. Humans are weird, aren't they? But once we know that the opinions of people sitting on the sidelines should never intimidate us because we've already done something they haven't just by putting ourselves in the game. I've said before, I know I've said this on calls, I've probably said this to you, we don't have to win a championship every year. That's the goal. It's the same goal that my husband has for his team every year. Conference title. It might not happen every year, but I can tell you how it won't happen if you take yourself out of the game. So you might not win a conference championship, but you better not take yourself out of the game and off the field. Because it's for damn sure if you take yourself off the field, you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. Whether you win the conference championship or not, if you take yourself out of the game, then you've lost, period. But if you stay on the field and stay in the game, who knows what might happen? Who knows? You might not win the championship, but you're in the game, and that's what matters. What else does he say? Oh, I highlighted a bunch of stuff in this. He talks about the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. Growth mindset person believes. I love this so much. The growth mindset person believes that what's possible for their life sits more in their hands. And as a result, they will go out and achieve more for believing it. Let me say that again louder for the people in the back row. The growth-minded person believes that what's possible for their life sits more in their hands, and as a result, they will go out and achieve more for believing it. So I will tell you this. I grew up with two very different kinds of parents. One who was growth-minded and one who was not. And it's so interesting as you dive into personal development and you're around people who are, how clearly you can see that. How one was very growth-minded, and on his desk were quotes and little mantras and stuff he'd torn out of magazines, exactly what I do to this day. And one was very much not. Like, this is just what it is. And when you get around people like that, as you grow yourself, you very quickly realize, like, wow, like, no, because we actually control a lot more than what we give ourselves credit for. We actually do, because it all starts up here. It's all mindset. It's all how we perceive, how we interpret, and what we project. That's where the growth comes from. It's not going into our Coach Online office and looking at all the rank advancements. It's just being so fired up for the potential and possibility in this business to begin with, and what it can do in our lives. Like, that sets the course for our business, not someone's rank advancement. The fact that we know that there's so much potential and possibility. But here's what happens. People get so caught up in this idea that it's hard, and then they start talking about it, and then other people buy into it. And I know there are coaches on our team who have come to us from other teams who have shared that, the culture on their team was like, it was hard. Everything was hard. And here's my question back to that. Why on God's green earth would we want to live a life that's harder than it has to be? Why would we talk about life being hard? And why would we ever want to be a part of a business that we've made up in our minds as being inordinately hard? And why would anyone ever want to join your team if all you're talking about and all you're projecting and all you're radiating is that it's so hard? Why do we want to make any of this? Why do we want to live a life hard? When you really get into it, does that make any sense? That does not mean there aren't hard moments in life. But as a whole, isn't life pretty amazing? It doesn't mean there aren't hard moments in this business. But as a whole, I am sitting here in workout clothes from coming up from my basement where I worked out, sitting here in workout clothes at my kitchen table, talking to you, talking to coaches all over the country about how we can grow and get better together. What about that is hard? Why would we want to make this harder than it has to be? That was the tone I was trying to demolish last night on the team call. It's what I've been trying to convey in the one-on-one masterminds that I'm having all week. Why are we making this so hard? This business is life-changing, and it is joyful. We get to change lives every single day. What about that is hard? And why would you want it to be? Why would you even wake up going, oh my gosh, it's so hard? What? You have just created it to be hard. But what if you got up and said, I cannot even believe that I get to, in my workout clothes, drink this amazing Energize. Like, I don't even how do you function without that? Work out at home and connect and build community with people from all across the country who want to grow and get better. Like, I get to do that every day. I get to help a mom be more patient. I get to help a dad get home earlier because he got to work out at noon on Beachbody On Demand. I get to help a mom who's a CEO of a company have a healthy lunch so that she feels better about herself. I get to help someone be kinder to their kids. And because I did that, I get to help their kids be kinder to the people that they interact with. I get to help people become better versions of themselves. That's what we get to do every single day. You tell me what's hard about that. It's not hard. There are hard moments, but it's not hard. So what if we stopped thinking about this business being so hard? What if we stopped thinking about, I have to recruit business builders? What if we just started leveling up our expectations of ourselves and our expectations of our joy and our expectations of our happiness and our expectations of showing up and saying, I am going to show up for myself, first of all, for my family next, and then for the world who absolutely needs me. And I'm going to show up and share these products and programs in this business because it's changed my life and it can change theirs too. And what if we start leveling up our expectations of that? And instead of Success Club 6 being okay, Success Club 60 becomes your norm because you know there are 30 people in this world who need what you have. And I bet out of those 30 people, you might get a couple coaches who want to build the business. But what if you started getting up with the expectation of joy and the expectation that you get to change lives today and that there are more than 3 people in a month who need what we have? And they don't know about it unless you tell them. What if we started getting up with that? What if we started getting up with that attitude of joy and expectation and relentless work ethic because people need us. People need your light. They need it. They're wandering around this world thinking that health and fitness is so hard when you have the solution right here in your hands and they're looking for it. You're their guide. And if you don't share it, they don't know. So rather than getting up thinking about this business being hard, because why on God's green earth would we want to create a life that's hard? Why would we want to do that? Why would we want to have a negative outlook and think that anything as joyful as this business is hard? What if we completely changed that and said this business is such a gift? There will be hard moments, but nothing about it is hard. We get to press play every day, drink a shake every day that completely changes our health, read amazing stuff, which I'm going to share from this in just a minute, read amazing stuff that makes us better humans on this planet, and we get to ask people to join us on this journey. We get to ask people to get on our ship and sail somewhere more amazing than where they are right now. We get to ask people to do that with us every single day. We get to ask people to join us on a platform that will make their life better like it has for us. Tell me what's hard about that. Or tell me if we're just making it hard. And I am right there along with you, which is why I get on here to share this with you, because there have been so many times where I have made this business. Because remember, I told you, I shared with you, I come from a parent that has a growth mindset, had a growth mindset, and a parent that had a fixed mindset. And so I've got these two synergies, these two like wave legs going on in my body all the time. And there are times when the fixed mindset that I grew up with, that's my mom. That was my mom. If you couldn't tell, that's my mom, who's still alive. My dad's not alive anymore. But there are times that fixed mindset gets the best of me. And I got to take a minute and remember, wait, wait a minute. So when I'm sharing this with you, it's not, you have to remember, it's not because I'm preaching or because I'm condescending or because I'm like, why can't you figure this out? It's because it's a battle and a war that I fight, I have fought and work on. I'm a constant work in progress every single day. And if I can shorten your learning curve, that's my job, to shorten your learning curve so that you can battle back that fixed mindset and dig into that growth mindset and know that you are capable of doing anything that you want to do with this business in your life. Somehow along the way, my dad's growth mindset has taken over more times than not, because here we are 12 years later and I'm still here. Loving this business more than I did even when I started. Because I know now what the potential and possibility of it is. And I get to watch it every day in all of you. I get to watch it unfold and bloom in all of you. So thankfully, I'm going to continue to hope that that growth mindset continues to win. But there are days when it is a battle and I've got to beat that down. And I got to beat that down with personal development and with working out and getting around you. And so if I can share something that will help you beat that down and shorten your learning curve, then I want to do that. Because this business isn't hard. It's joyful and it's life-changing. And I want to read you one more thing, and then I'm gonna close it up here. And it was interesting because the card I drew this morning, and for some reason this was rattling around in my head. And oh wow. Well, this is funny. You know, nothing is random, right? Nothing is random. I had something else to read to you, and I probably will, but then I opened up my book, and look what the chapter says. Make failure your fuel. That's not random, y'all. I had something else I was actually going to share with you, and then I opened the book up, and it's that instead. The old rule, failure means you're out of the game. But the new rule is failure means you're finally in the game. Failure means you're in the game. This is Wolfpack, Abby Wambach. It's time for a new rule. Women must stop accepting failure as our destruction and start using failure as our fuel. Failure is not something to be ashamed of, nor is it proof of unworthiness. Failure is something to be powered by. When we live afraid to fail, we don't take risks. Also, who's defining fail? Whose definition are we living by? When we don't bring our entire selves to the table, when we show up to a team call drinking a freaking Pepsi or not taking notes, when we don't bring ourselves to the table, we end up failing before we even begin. Those are the people who will say to you a year from now, why is the business not working? It must not work. No, it's because they're not bringing their entire selves to the table. Let's stop worrying. What if I fail? Instead, let's promise ourselves, when I fail, I'll stick around. When I fail, I'll stick around. The world needs to see women take risks, fail big, and insist on their right to stick around and try again. That's the mark of someone who will build a business and a life. The resiliency, the try again, the get up and go again. Just like a baby learning to walk, the get up and go again. A champion never allows a short-term failure to take her out of the long-term game. A woman who doesn't give up can never lose. Why do you think I've been able to build a multi-million-dollar, yes, you heard me, multi-million-dollar business? Don't ask me where all that money's gone. Oh, I can tell you. 3 places. Jenna, Josie, Jesse. Thank God for it. Why have I been able to do it? Because I just don't go away. I literally just don't go away. Try, fail, feel it burn, transform failure into your fuel. Okay, hold on. I got to find the place that I wanted to share with you. And I don't know why this particular thing was rattling around in my head. And I got to find it. Okay. I don't know why this particular chapter was rattling around in my head, but I think it's a female syndrome. Be grateful and ambitious. The old rule, be grateful for what you have. The new rule, be grateful for what you have and demand what you deserve. You deserve to create an incredible life for you and your family. Period. On period. Full stop. End of sentence. You deserve to do that. Not showing up to this opportunity that's sitting right here in your hands, this team that has success story after success story after success story, that has a leader that is telling you, that is showing you by example that this business can change your life, that has told you over and over and over and over and over again what this business has done for my children. What are you doing? Not showing up for that? You deserve to create the life you want to create. I want you to be grateful for this business. I mean, we are so lucky to have this opportunity in our lives, but it can't stop there. And that's what women do. We stop. We're just so grateful. I'm just so grateful to be able to stay home with my kids. I'm just so grateful to have Success Club 2. I'm just so grateful. No, we're going to be grateful and we're going to demand what we deserve. And you deserve to create a life that looks like however you want to create it. On average, women across the globe will earn significantly less than men in equivalent positions throughout their careers. In the first quarter of 2018, women in the U.S. earned 81.1% of what their male counterparts earned across industries and ages. Studies have shown that on average, women must work 66 extra days to earn the same wage. Abby Wambach spent most of her time during her career the same way she spent when she accepted an ESPY award, just feeling grateful. She was so grateful for a paycheck, so grateful to represent her country, so grateful to be the token woman at the table, so grateful to receive any respect at all. And she was afraid to use her voice to demand more for herself. And what keeps that gap in existence? It's the gratitude of women. We are so grateful that we forget to also demand what we deserve. Be grateful, but don't just be grateful. Be grateful and brave. Be grateful and ambitious. Be grateful and righteous. Be grateful and persistent. Be grateful and loud. Be grateful for what you have and demand what you deserve. And know that you do deserve it. And it starts with that. You deserve to create the life on purpose that you want to create. And this business is the platform for it. Pre-order this book. Get this book if you haven't read it. Understand that this business is not hard. There are hard moments, but it's not. Understand that our mindset is everything, and why on God's green earth would we want to create and be a part of something that's harder than it has to be? That seems so silly to me. Doesn't it seem silly to you? Let's not do that anymore. Let's get up with expectations of joy, knowing that we actually get to change lives. It's like that Grey's Anatomy saying, it's a great day to save lives. I think it's a great day to change lives. Every day we get up is a great day to change lives. How do we know that? Because this business, this team, this community, these products, these programs, they changed our lives. That's the rock on which we stand. Because these programs, these products, this community, this team, this opportunity, this business, it's changed my life. It's changed my life. That's the rock on which I stand. So how can I not share that? What if someone hadn't shared that with me? What if someone hadn't shared that with you? And every day we get the opportunity with joy, with gratitude, and with ambition to demand a little more because we're worth it. To create a little more because we're worth it. To do a little more, to grow a little more, to fail a little more, to learn a little more. I'm not here to build a side hustle. I'm here to build a legacy, a ripple effect that's changing not just my life and not just my daughter's lives, but my grandchildren's lives when they come around, my great-grandchildren's lives. This is a generational change that's happening through simple choices that we're making every day and simple choices that we might not be. The cool part is we get to choose. So what choices will you make today? I hope you will get out of your own way. And I hope that you will claim your power and change the game that you're living, because you can and you're worth it. Be ambitious, be grateful, own the power that you have, own this business, wake up with joy. It's a good day to change some lives today. Have a great Wednesday.